What if the people who hurt you the most, those who betrayed your trust or broke your heart, are actually your greatest teachers in disguise? Welcome to Jung Psyche Hub, where we dive deep into Carl Jung's transformative wisdom to help you turn pain into power. In this video, we'll uncover 5 Carl Jung-inspired steps to heal from those who've hurt you. Not with anger or revenge, but with grace, strength, and self-discovery through real-life stories, like that of Emma, who rose from betrayal to reclaim her peace, and practical tools rooted in Carl Jung's psychology. You'll learn how to let go of resentment, set unshakable boundaries, and awaken your true self. So, stick around. This isn't about fighting back. It's about rising above. Let's begin the journey to your inner strength. When someone hurts you, betrays your trust, speaks cruel words, or walks away without a glance, it feels like the world is caving in. Your heart aches. Your mind replays the moment. And you're left wondering, why me? What did I do to deserve this? But what if the pain you're feeling isn't a punishment, but a teacher? Welcome to the first step of healing through Carl Jung's wisdom, where we'll explore how the people who hurt you are not your enemies, but your guides to uncovering your deepest strength. In this chapter, we'll meet Emma, whose story of betrayal became the spark for her transformation, and discover why pain, as Carl Jung might say, is the fire that forges your soul. Let's start with Emma, a 29-year-old teacher who thought she'd found a lifelong friend in Mia. They shared everything: late-night talks, secrets, dreams. Emma was always there for Mia, listening to her struggles, offering advice, even cancelling her own plans to help. But one day, Emma discovered Mia had been spreading rumors about her, painting her as unreliable and selfish to their mutual friends. The betrayal cut deep. Emma couldn't sleep. Her confidence crumbled, and she felt like she'd lost not just a friend, but a piece of herself. She kept asking, why would she do this? What's wrong with me? Sound familiar? We've all been there, reeling from the sting of someone's actions, feeling like the pain is a curse. But here's where Carl Jung's wisdom flips the script. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychologist who plumbed the depths of the human psyche, taught that pain is never random. It's a call to look within. In his framework, every experience, especially the painful ones, is tied to the shadow, the hidden parts of ourselves we don't want to face. For Emma, her shadow wasn't just the hurt from Mia's betrayal. It was the belief that her worth depended on being needed, on being the good friend who always showed up when Mia turned on her. It forced Emma to confront a truth. She'd been giving so much of herself that she'd neglected her own needs. That pain, as Carl Jung might argue, it wasn't a punishment. It was a wake-up call from herself, the core of who she truly is, urging her to stop living for others and start valuing herself. Let's break this down. When someone hurts you, it feels personal, like an attack on your very being. Maybe it's a friend who gossips, a partner who leaves, or a colleague who undermines you. In that moment, your instinct is to blame them, to see them as the villain. But Carl Jung's perspective invites a deeper question. What is this pain trying to teach me? For Emma, the lesson was brutal but clear. Not everyone who smiles at you is your friend, and your peace can't depend on others' approval. This realization didn't come easily. Emma spent nights crying, replaying Mia's words. But then she started journaling, asking herself, what did I give up to keep this friendship? The answer hit hard: her time, her energy, her self-respect. That's when she began to see her pain not as a wound, but as a teacher. Carl Jung's concept of the shadow is key here. The shadow holds the parts of ourselves we ignore, our insecurities, our fears, even our unacknowledged strengths. When someone hurts you, they often mirror something in your shadow. Maybe it's a fear of not being enough, like Emma's belief that she had to earn love by being useful. Maybe it's a suppressed anger you've never let yourself feel. The person who hurts you becomes a mirror, reflecting those hidden parts back at you. Carl Jung believed that facing the shadow is the first step in individuation, the journey to becoming your whole, authentic self. For Emma, Mia's betrayal wasn't just a loss, it was an invitation to confront her shadow, to see where she'd been betraying herself by prioritizing others over her own needs. Let's make this real for you. Think about someone who's hurt you, a friend, a family member, a lover. What did their actions stir up inside you? Maybe it was anger, shame, or a sense of unworthiness. Now, instead of focusing on what they did, ask, what is this pain showing me about myself? Maybe it's revealing a boundary you never set, a need you've ignored, or a strength you haven't claimed. Carl Jung taught that pain is a signal from the unconscious, pushing you to grow. For Emma, the pain of betrayal taught her to stop seeking validation from others. She began saying no to demands that drained her. Like when a colleague asked her to take on extra work. Instead of feeling guilty, she felt liberated. That's the power of pain as a teacher. It doesn't just break you, it builds you. Here's a practical step to start this journey when you feel hurt. Write it down. Grab a journal and ask, what is this pain trying to teach me? Don't censor yourself. Just let the words flow. Emma did this, and it helped her see that Mia's betrayal wasn't about her worth. It was about Mia's own insecurities. This exercise, rooted in Carl Jung's practice of active imagination, lets you dialogue with your unconscious, uncovering the lessons hidden in your pain. Another step, pause before reacting. When Emma first learned about Mia's rumors, she wanted to confront her, to demand answers, but she waited, and that pause gave her clarity. Carl Jung would say, this is how you protect yourself from being hijacked by the ego's need to fight back. Pain, as Carl Jung saw it, is like the fire in a blacksmith's forge. It's intense. It burns, but it shapes you into something stronger. Emma's betrayal didn't destroy her. It revealed her resilience. She started setting boundaries, reconnecting with her love for teaching, and finding friends who valued her for who she was, not what she could do. This is what pain does when you let it teach you. It strips away illusions and reveals your truth. So, ask yourself, what has your pain taught you? Share your answer in the comments. We're all on this journey together. Stay with us, because in the next chapter, we'll explore how silence becomes your greatest weapon when dealing with those who hurt you. When someone hurts you, your first instinct is to fight back, to confront, to argue, to make them see the pain they've caused. But what if the most powerful response isn't a fiery outburst or a clever comeback, but silence? In this chapter, inspired by Carl Jung's wisdom, we'll explore why staying silent in the face of betrayal or hurt is not weakness, but a strategic act of strength that protects your inner peace and reclaims your power. Through Emma's story and Carl Jung's insights, you'll see how silence becomes a shield for your soul, letting those who hurt you face the consequences of their actions without you saying a word. Let's pick up with Emma, our 9-year-old teacher who was blindsided by her friend Mia's betrayal. After discovering Mia had spread rumors about her, Emma's initial urge was to call her out. She imagined storming over to Mia's apartment, demanding an explanation, or texting their mutual friends to set the record straight. Her heart raced, her hands shook. She wanted Mia to feel the weight of her hurt. But then, Something stopped her. A quiet voice inside whispered, "Don't react. Just step back." So, Emma did something radical. She went silent. No calls. No texts. No confrontation. She unfollowed Mia on social media, stopped engaging with the group's drama, and focused on herself. At first, it felt unnatural, almost like giving up. But soon, she noticed something incredible. Her silence spoke louder than any argument could. This is where Carl Jung's teachings come alive. Carl Jung believed that the self, the core of your authentic being, is your greatest source of strength. But it's often drowned out by the ego, the part of you that craves validation, control, or revenge. When someone hurts you, the ego screams for action. Prove them wrong, make them pay. But reacting from the ego often pulls you into chaos, draining your energy and giving the other person power over your emotions. Silence, on the other hand, is the language of the self. It's a deliberate choice to protect your inner peace, to refuse to let someone else's actions hijack your soul. For Emma, choosing silence wasn't about avoiding conflict. It was about choosing herself over the chaos Mia had created. Let's look at what happened next. Without Emma's usual support, Mia's world started to unravel. She texted Emma, confused, "Why aren't you talking to me? Are you mad?" When Emma didn't respond, Mia doubled down, spreading more rumors to provoke a reaction. But Emma stayed silent. And something shifted. Their mutual friends began to see Mia's behavior for what it was: petty and manipulative. Mia's attempts to paint Emma as the villain backfired, because Emma's silence forced Mia to face her own actions. Carl Jung would call this a moment of projection. Mia's rumors were less about Emma and more about her own insecurities, her own shadow. By staying silent, Emma held up a mirror, letting Mia's behavior reflect back on her without Emma lifting a finger. This idea of silence as power isn't new. It's rooted in Carl Jung's understanding of the psyche. He taught that the shadow, the hidden, unacknowledged parts of ourselves, often drives conflict. When someone hurts you, they're often acting from their own shadow, projecting their fears or flaws onto you. Reacting to their provocation pulls you into their shadow game, where you both lose. But silence. Silence is like stepping out of the ring. It says, "I won't play your game." Carl Jung would argue that this is an act of individuation, a step toward becoming your whole self, by refusing to let external chaos define you. For Emma, silence wasn't passive. It was a radical act of reclaiming her power, of saying, "My peace is worth more than your drama." Let's make this practical. Think about a time someone hurt you, a snide comment from a coworker, a betrayal by a loved one, or a friend who took you for granted. Your instinct was probably to react, to defend yourself, to prove your worth. But what did that get you? Maybe a fleeting sense of victory, but often more stress, more conflict, more energy drained. Now imagine choosing silence instead. Not the silence of suppression, but the silence of strength, the kind that says, "I'm above this." Emma learned this when she stopped responding to Mia's texts. Instead of arguing, she spent that energy on herself, going to yoga, journaling, reconnecting with her passions. The result? She felt lighter, more in control. While Mia was left grappling with her own actions, here's how you can harness the power of silence. Inspired by Carl Jung. First, pause before reacting. When you feel the urge to lash out, take a deep breath and ask, "Is this worth my energy?" Carl Jung's practice of self-reflection helps you separate the ego's need to fight from the self's need for peace. Second, set a boundary without words. Emma didn't need to tell Mia she was done. She showed it by stepping back. Try this the next time someone provokes you. Don't engage. Unfollow, mute, or simply walk away. Your silence sends a message louder than words. Third, listen to your inner voice. Carl Jung believed the self speaks in quiet moments. Emma's decision to stay silent came from a whisper in her heart, a sign she was aligning with her true self. Silence, as Carl Jung might see it, is like a lion, ignoring the barking of dogs. It doesn't diminish your strength. It amplifies it. Emma's silence didn't just protect her peace. It exposed Mia's true character to others. It was a power move, not because it hurt Mia, but because it freed Emma. So, here's a question for you. Have you ever stayed silent in the face of hurt and felt its power? Drop your story in the comments. We're all learning from each other. Stay with us, because in the next chapter, we'll dive into how forgiveness becomes your ultimate act of freedom. When someone hurts you, the weight of their betrayal can feel like a stone in your heart, heavy, unrelenting, dragging you down with every step. Your instinct is to hold on to the anger, to replay their words or actions, to make them pay by keeping that pain alive. But what if forgiveness, far from being a gift to them, is actually the key to setting yourself free? In this chapter, inspired by Carl Jung's profound wisdom, we'll explore how forgiveness is not about erasing the past or excusing the hurt, but about releasing the chains that bind you to it. Through Emma's journey and Carl Jung's lens, you'll discover how forgiveness becomes a radical act of reclaiming your power and stepping closer to your true self. Let's return to Emma, our 9-year-old teacher, who's been navigating the aftermath of her friend Mia's betrayal. After choosing silence over confrontation, Emma felt lighter, but the pain lingered. Every time she saw Mia's name pop up in a group chat or heard about her through mutual friends, a wave of resentment surged. She'd think, how could she do that to me? She doesn't deserve my forgiveness. But as weeks passed, Emma noticed something holding on to that anger. Wasn't hurting Mia, it was exhausting her. She was trapped, replaying the betrayal in her mind, letting it steal her peace. One night, while journaling, she wrote, "I'm tired of carrying this. I want to be free." That was the moment Emma realized forgiveness wasn't about Mia, it was about liberating herself. Carl Jung's teachings offer a powerful perspective here. Carl Jung believed that holding on to resentment is like letting someone live rent-free in your psyche, draining your energy and blocking your path to individuation, the process of becoming your whole, authentic self. In Carl Jung's framework, forgiveness is an act of integrating the pain into yourself, the core of your being that transcends the ego's need for revenge or validation. When you forgive, you're not saying the hurt was okay. You're saying, I refuse to let this pain define me. For Emma, forgiving Mia didn't mean inviting her back into her life or pretending the betrayal never happened. It meant releasing the emotional grip Mia's actions had on her, allowing Emma to move forward without the weight of resentment. Let's see how this played out. Emma decided to forgive Mia, not face-to-face, but in her heart, she wrote a letter she never sent, pouring out her hurt, anger, and disappointment. Then, she burned it, a symbolic act of letting go. She told herself, I forgive you, Mia, for my own peace, not yours. But forgiveness didn't mean opening the door to more hurt. Emma set a clear boundary. She blocked Mia's number and stopped engaging with mutual friends who fueled the drama. This wasn't cold or vindictive. It was a declaration of her worth. By forgiving, Emma freed herself from the cycle of anger, and something shifted. She started sleeping better, smiling more, and feeling a spark of joy she hadn't felt in months. Her silence had been her shield. Forgiveness was her wings. Carl Jung would call this a crucial step in individuation. When you hold on to resentment, you're tethered to the person who hurt you, giving them power over your emotions. Forgiveness cuts that tether, not because they deserve it, but because you do. Carl Jung's concept of the shadow is relevant here. The pain you feel often reflects unhealed parts of yourself, maybe a fear of rejection or a belief that you're not enough. Forgiving doesn't erase the lesson, it integrates it. Emma's shadow included her tendency to prioritize others' needs over her own. Our pattern? Mia's betrayal exposed. By forgiving, Emma wasn't just letting go of Mia, she was healing that part of herself. Stepping closer to the whole, radiant self Carl Jung described, let's make this real for you. Think about someone who's hurt you deeply, a friend who lied, a partner who left, a family member who dismissed you. Notice how holding on to that anger feels like carrying a heavy stone. It doesn't hurt them, it weighs you down. Now, imagine setting that stone down, not because they're worthy of forgiveness, but because you're worthy of freedom. Emma's story shows that forgiveness is an inside job. It's not about confronting the other person or seeking their apology. It's about choosing to release the pain so it no longer controls you. Carl Jung believed this act of letting go is like alchemy. It transforms the raw, heavy pain into the gold of inner peace. Here's how you can start. Inspired by Carl Jung's wisdom. First, write it out. Like Emma, write a letter to the person who hurt you, spilling all your emotions: anger, sadness, betrayal. You don't have to send it. The act of writing externalizes the pain, loosening its grip. Second, set a boundary. Forgiveness doesn't mean letting someone back in. Emma blocked Mia to protect her peace. You can do the same. Whether it's limiting contact, saying no, or walking away from toxic dynamics. Third, reframe the hurt. Ask yourself, what did this teach me about my shadow? Maybe it's a lesson about self-worth or the need to stop people-pleasing. Carl Jung's practice of active imagination can help close your eyes. Picture the pain as a stone, and imagine setting it down. Feel the lightness that comes. Forgiveness, as Carl Jung might see it, is like a river flowing around obstacles. It doesn't fight them, it moves forward. Emma's forgiveness didn't change Mia, but it changed her. She stopped carrying the stone of resentment and started living for herself, finding joy in small things like morning coffee or a new book. This is the freedom forgiveness brings. It's not about them, it's about you becoming whole. So, here's a question for you. Who do you need to forgive to feel free? Share your thoughts in the comments. We're all on this journey together. Stay with us, because in the next chapter, we'll explore how to transform your pain into unshakable power. Pain can feel like a fire that burns you down, leaving nothing but ashes. But what if that same fire could forge you into something stronger, something unbreakable? In this chapter, inspired by Carl Jung's transformative wisdom, we'll explore how the hurt inflicted by others can become the fuel for your greatest growth. This isn't about erasing the pain or pretending it didn't happen. It's about using it to awaken a power within you that no one can touch. Through Emma's journey and Carl Jung's lens, you'll learn how to turn betrayal into resilience, loss into purpose, and wounds into wisdom, becoming the architect of your own unstoppable self. Let's rejoin Emma, our 9-year-old teacher, who's already walked through betrayal, silence, and forgiveness. After choosing to forgive her friend Mia for spreading hurtful rumors, Emma felt freer. But the scars remained. She'd catch herself doubting her worth, wondering if she'd ever trust again. The pain of Mia's actions still lingered, like a shadow trailing her steps. But Emma was determined not to let it define her. One evening, while flipping through her journal, she read an entry from the darkest days of her betrayal. "I feel broken, but maybe this is where I start rebuilding." That sparked a shift. Emma decided to use her pain, not as a weight, but as a catalyst. She enrolled in a psychology course to understand herself better, started painting again, a passion she'd abandoned, and began sharing her story with a small online community. Slowly, her pain became her power. Carl Jung would see this as the essence of individuation, the journey to becoming your whole, authentic self. Carl Jung often used the metaphor of alchemy, the ancient art of transforming lead into gold, to describe how we can turn the raw, heavy material of pain into something radiant. For Emma, the lead was her betrayal. The gold was the strength, clarity, and purpose she found by facing it. Carl Jung taught that pain is a signal from the unconscious, urging you to integrate your shadow, the hidden parts of yourself, like insecurities or unclaimed strengths. Emma's shadow included her fear of not being enough, a belief that Mia's betrayal had exposed. By confronting this fear, Emma didn't just heal, she grew. She transformed her pain into a drive to rediscover her passions and build a life aligned with her true self. Let's look at how Emma's transformation unfolded. Her psychology course opened her eyes to Carl Jung's ideas, helping her see that Mia's betrayal wasn't just personal, it was a mirror to her own unhealed wounds. This insight fueled her creativity. Emma's paintings, once forgotten, became vibrant expressions of her journey. Bold colors and abstract shapes that captured her resilience. She shared them online. And to her surprise, people responded. Comments like, "Your art speaks to my own healing," poured in, creating a ripple effect. Emma also started a blog, writing about betrayal, boundaries, and self-discovery. Her vulnerability inspired others, and she found purpose in helping people navigate their own pain. What began as a wound became a wellspring of strength, proving that pain, when transformed, can light the way for others. Carl Jung's alchemy metaphor is powerful here. Just as a blacksmith uses fire to shape metal, life uses pain to shape you. The people who hurt you, whether it's a friend's betrayal, a partner's abandonment, or a colleague's sabotage, are the fire. They burn, but they also refine. Emma's pain refined her self-worth, teaching her to value herself beyond others' opinions. It refined her purpose, leading her to art and writing that touched lives. Carl Jung would say, this is the work of the self, the guiding force within you that turns chaos into meaning. By embracing her pain, Emma didn't just survive, she became a creator, turning her wounds into wisdom that empowered her and others. Let's make this practical for you. Think about a hurt you're carrying, a betrayal, a rejection, a moment that left you questioning your worth. Now, imagine that pain as raw material, like clay waiting to be shaped. How can you mold it into something powerful? Emma's story offers clues. First, explore your pain through creation. Carl Jung's practice of active imagination encourages expressing the unconscious through art, writing, or movement. Try painting, journaling, or even dancing to release your emotions. Emma's paintings became her voice. What's yours? Second, learn from your shadow. Ask, what does this pain reveal about me? Maybe it's a belief you're not enough or a strength you've ignored. Emma learned she didn't need to be needed. She needed to be herself. Third, share your story. You don't need a blog like Emma's. Even talking to a friend or posting a thought online can spark connection. Your pain, when shared, becomes a beacon for others. This transformation isn't just about you, it ripples outward. Emma's blog grew because her authenticity resonated. Her art inspired others because it came from a place of truth. Carl Jung would say, "This is the magic of individuation. When you align with yourself, you attract people and opportunities that reflect your growth." Emma's new friends valued her for who she was, not what she could give. Her pain didn't make her bitter, it made her magnetic. This is the power of turning pain into gold. It doesn't just heal you, it transforms the world around you. Here's the takeaway: your pain is not your enemy. It's your raw material, like a diamond formed under pressure. You become stronger, not despite your hurt, but because of it. Emma's betrayal didn't break her, it built her into a woman who creates, inspires, and lives with purpose. So, ask yourself, what's one way you're turning your pain into strength? Share it in the comments, we're all in this together. Stay with us, because in the next chapter, we'll explore how to master your inner peace, becoming untouchable, no matter who tries to hurt you. When life throws pain your way, betrayal, rejection, or harsh words, it's easy to let the chaos of the outside world shake your core. But what if you could stand unshaken, like a mountain in a storm, no matter who tries to hurt you? In this final chapter, inspired by Carl Jung's profound wisdom, we'll explore how to master your inner peace, a strength so deep that no insult or betrayal can touch it. Through Emma's journey and Carl Jung's lens, you'll learn how to cultivate a calm, untouchable center, the ultimate power that makes you resilient against those who hurt you. This isn't about avoiding pain. It's about becoming so grounded in yourself that you rise above it. Let's reconnect with Emma, our 9-year-old teacher, who's transformed her pain from Mia's betrayal into strength. She stayed silent, forgiven, and turned her hurt into a creative force through painting and blogging. But even with these steps, Emma faced moments where the outside world tested her. A snide comment from a co-worker, a fleeting memory of Mia's rumors, or a stressful day could still stir unease. Yet, Emma noticed something. The more she focused on her inner world, the less these external triggers affected her. One morning, while sipping coffee and watching the sunrise, she felt a quiet calm, a sense that no one could steal her peace unless she let them. This was Emma mastering her inner peace, a state Carl Jung would call living from the self. Carl Jung taught that the self is the core of your being, a unifying force that holds your light and shadow, your strengths and fears. Unlike the ego, which reacts to every slight or seeks validation, the self is steady, rooted in inner balance. When you master your inner peace, and you align with this self, becoming like the eye of a storm, calm while chaos swirls around you. For Emma, this meant no longer letting Mia's actions or anyone else's opinions define her mood. She began practicing mindfulness, taking moments each day to breathe deeply and check in with herself. When a co-worker made a cutting remark, instead of spiraling, she paused, asked, "Does this deserve my energy?" and let it go. This wasn't weakness, it was power. The kind that comes from knowing your worth isn't tied to external noise. Let's see how Emma's inner peace reshaped her world. As she grew more grounded, her relationships changed. She attracted new friends who respected her boundaries, like a colleague who valued her ideas and a neighbor who shared her love for art. These weren't people who drained her, they lifted her up, reflecting her newfound strength. Even when she heard Mia was still talking about her, Emma didn't flinch. She'd learned to protect her peace, like a lion ignoring the barking of dogs. Carl Jung would say this is the result of individuation. When you live from yourself, you draw in connections that honor your wholeness, not your wounds. Emma's calm became her shield, making her untouchable to those who once held power over her emotions. Carl Jung's wisdom offers a profound insight here. Inner peace isn't something you find outside, it's something you cultivate within. The world will always throw storms, people will betray, criticize, or dismiss you. But when you master your inner peace, those storms can't shake you. Carl Jung believed this comes from integrating your shadow, the parts of yourself you've ignored or suppressed. For Emma, her shadow included a need for approval, which Mia's betrayal had exposed. By facing this, she stopped seeking validation from others and started trusting her own worth. This is what Carl Jung called awakening. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. Emma awoke to herself, finding a peace so deep it became her greatest strength. Let's make this practical. How do you master your inner peace? First, practice stillness. Carl Jung emphasized the power of quiet reflection to connect with the self. Try this. Spend 5 minutes daily sitting in silence, noticing your thoughts without judging them. Emma did this each morning, letting her worries float by like clouds. Second, choose your battles. When someone hurts you, ask, "Is this worth my peace, Emma?" Let her co-worker's remark slide, saving her energy for what mattered. Third, anchor in your values. Write down what makes you, your passions, your strengths, your dreams. Emma's list included teaching and painting. Revisiting it grounded her when life felt chaotic. These steps, rooted in Carl Jung's teachings, build a fortress of peace that no one can breach. This inner peace isn't just a shield, it's a magnet. As Emma embraced her calm, she radiated confidence. Her students noticed her warmth. Her new friends admired her authenticity. And her blog grew because people felt her strength. Carl Jung would say, "This is the alchemy of the self when you're at peace. You attract what aligns with your truth. The people who hurt you, those who thrive on drama or negativity, lose their grip because they can't touch your calm." Emma's peace didn't just protect her, it transformed her life, proving that true power lies not in fighting back, but in standing firm. Here's the heart of it. Mastering your inner peace makes you untouchable. It's not about ignoring pain, but about refusing to let it control you. Emma's journey shows that when you live from yourself, you become a mountain, unshaken by the storms of betrayal or hurt. So, ask yourself, what's one step you'll take today to protect your inner peace? Share it in the comments, we're all cheering for you. Stay with us for the outro, where we'll wrap up this journey with a powerful call to action inspired by Carl Jung's timeless wisdom. And there you have it. Your pain isn't a prison, it's a pathway to your greatest strength. Guided by Carl Jung's timeless wisdom, we've walked through the fire of betrayal, learned to wield silence as a shield, embraced forgiveness as freedom, and transformed hurt into unshakable power. You're not just surviving those who hurt you, you're rising above them, crafting a life rooted in the calm, radiant self that Carl Jung celebrated. As he said, "Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes." Now, it's time to awaken. Take one step today to protect your peace, whether it's setting a boundary, journaling your pain, or simply saying, "I am enough." What's one lesson your pain has taught you? Drop it in the comments below. We're all cheering for you. If this journey resonated, hit that subscribe button, tap the bell, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. At Jung Psyche Hub, we're here to guide you toward your truest self. Keep healing, keep growing, and we'll see you in the next video.